All right, congrats, bro.
Thank you.
Finished the second day with an impressive victory over Yuri. Give me your thoughts on the match.
So now that this camp is over, I can finally talk about it because I didn't lose. Because if I lost and then talked about it, everyone's like, oh, he's fucking making excuses. But I won, so you can't make excuses for winning. But yeah, I mean, just from start to finish, this was like my absolute worst camp that I've ever had in my career. It was like 8 months of me not even being able to finish a training session without like just dry heaving and having to quit. And then I had like 10 solid days. I actually messaged Mo on August 1st, and I was like, I'm 99% sure I can't do this. And I was like, I don't want to screw you and, you know, have you like last minute, you're stressed enough. I don't want to have you going like, you know, finding a last minute replacement. What's my deadline? And he's like, I could do probably at least a week. And I was like, how about we wait until the 10th when I fly in? And he's like, all right. So I was like, that gives me 10 days. That's 20 sessions. I was like, I could do 20 sessions and I'll see how it goes. So like I just started being able to train hard with like Giancarlo and Luke and getting into full first 10, then 15, then 20, then 30, 35 minute rounds. And that last 10 days after like 8 months of not being able to do anything was just about getting my timing and cardio back. And my timing and cardio are not where they're supposed to be. I'm probably operating about 30% right now. Like this was the chance for people to beat me. And as you can tell, my submission skills, like where I was just focusing on wrestling because my timing for the wrestling is the biggest thing. So that was all off. Then I mounted Yuri and I was like, shit, I don't know how to do a submission. So my timing was really off, and my submission skills, the tightness of my wedges is not anywhere near it needs to be. So I'm pissed I didn't get the 2 submissions. And then yesterday, early in the Felipe match, I badly tore my LCL, and like when I cooled down, I couldn't even walk. So I went to the hospital at like 1 a.m. yesterday, got cortisone shots in that, and then did lidocaine before the match. So that LCL that tore like in the first 10 minutes of the Felipe match. That's why when I was trying to extract my leg in like those 50-50 positions, the first like 2 or 3 times I was able to just stand up and pull it out. But when I was trying to heist after I got torn, he kept putting weight down on my knee and on my hip. So every time I went to heist up, he'd put pressure down on the LCL and I couldn't pull my leg out. So it was like, do I pull it all the way out and completely tear it and then have a worse match tomorrow, or do I give him the time to rest? And I gave him the time to rest, and it ended up, you know, I wasn't able to drown them like I thought I was going to be able to. So then I went out and match against Yuri, and it was really just, I was like, if I play guard, he jumps side to side, and I think it actually may be worse for my leg than just wrestling him. So I went out and thank God I took him down in like the first 2 minutes, and I was like, oh, that's a pleasant surprise. And then I just kind of melted him from there, but my submissions were off. I couldn't go to S-mount because of my leg. I took his back and that wasn't quite there. And then I was trying to trap his hand with my right leg, but I couldn't push down like I wanted to because of the knee. So it's not I fully tore this one. It's not 100% tear, but I think it might be torn enough where I need surgery. So who knows? I get back to Austin, rest a little bit, and then see what to do.
Dang, like some of these guys doing 12, 15-week camps, 10 days, like how?
Well, we usually do an official 12-week camp. I do an unofficial 16-week camp. So I went in 16 weeks out like this, I'm gonna start the camp. But every single day I would go in, I would do drills. Sometimes I wouldn't be able to finish drills. Then I would do like 1 or 2 rounds, or even just like hard drilling at the end, and then dry heaving. And then like once it gets bad, then I have to sit out, or I do 2 movements that I'm dry heaving. And the power of like your body wanting to throw up is like the most overwhelming feeling ever. It's like you can't stop it. And if I'm like passing someone's guard, it's like you can't just fight through it because you don't know if you're gonna throw up. So it's like, I don't want to throw up on the guy, so I have to like stop the match and walk off. And then, so it's like, so I had like an actual 10-day camp. I didn't touch or do a round with one of the guys who were competing in ADCC until 10 days out. And it was just, Nicholas had some injuries, so we didn't train, but it was just back and forth between me and Giancarlo and me and Luke. And I had 10 days basically to get ready for this. But I was doing good with Luke and Giancarlo, and I text Mo on the end of Friday. I had a good session on Friday. We were leaving on Saturday, and I'm like, fuck it, I'll try it. And now we got 7, so I can die happy.
And besides the knee, how does the body feel right now?
My body feels great. My stomach has been lingering, but it was actually pretty good for these matches. Just my timing and everything, I'm just not really where I'm supposed to be athletically. But luckily everyone said terrible that it was still more than enough to get the job done.
Can you talk to me about the strategy in the Yuri match? We couldn't help but notice you were doing kind of the exact same thing in some of the training sessions earlier in terms of like taking your leg out of that quarter guard, passing, and going back and forth.
So the idea is we call it backtracking. I speak about it a little bit in my instructionals. And it's basically when I have advantage or advantageous positions and I allow the guy to recover guard, but it's on my terms. So it's not like I just give him back guard and boom, we're back in open guard. It's like I give him guard, but I have double underhooks. So he has guard, but then because I have double underhooks, it's so easy to pass. So he kept taking the bait and trying to put himself back in guard. And I was like, no problem. And then just boom, foot out, boom, foot out, boom, foot out. And then I couldn't go to S mount, so I chose to take his back. And then I took his back, and I couldn't really trap the arm because of my leg. And then I tried to switch off to an armbar, but he slipped out. The Kimura was really tight. The Kimura was really close, but I didn't have the angle for the Kimura, and I didn't have the angle for the triangle. It was like kind of between a back triangle and a wrong way triangle. And I couldn't pull him on top. So then his head slipped out of that, and I was like, God damn it. And then like the last 10 seconds, he had me in Achilles, and I was like, oh, this is a joke. He has no mechanics. And then he popped my ankle with the Achilles, and I was like, God damn it. I just got broken for no reason. But, you know, all in all, I'm kind of pissed I didn't get any subs, but with the hand that I had, like, you know, with the hand that I had dealt and for the circumstances, you know, I can't really complain.
And, you know, obviously you've won this tournament many times before, but how important was this one, the 6 and 7 for you? What does this mean to you?
You know, I think that in terms of Nogi Goat and greatest ADCC competitor of all time, it was me before this. So, you know, this was just another cool thing to add to my record, just to be the all-time winning as far as gold medals. But to be honest, if I was, with my health, if I was doing this for me, I wouldn't have done this ADCC. This was really for John. I really, you know, it makes me, there's nothing in the world that makes me more upset than like not being able to perform for that guy. Like, he gives so much, and I know that he, you know, for him, having an athlete that has the most golds of all time is important to him. So, you know, I really wanted to get there for him, and of course for Mo. Like, Mo has put so much into this, and the shit that's going on with all these cocksucking athletes and haters, and everyone in this sport is just so miserable, and they're backstabbed. Like, everyone sucks in this sport, and the people who pretend to be the good guys are all the fucking worst cockroaches. And so I knew that, you know, this was important, and it was, you know, kind of the show that was gonna have to be saved by me. And I told Mo multiple times, I'm like, I will do everything in my power to fucking make this. If I have to die to get here, I will die to get here, and we got here.
Yeah, did you feel that pressure? I mean, you're kind of right? You're kind of saving the show type of thing, but did you feel that pressure the whole time?
This one was different because I knew that the camp was really bad. Like, when I go into a normal match, there's no real, you know, confidence is like experience based. Like, if you have experiences where you have good results, like if in the gym I go for an armbar 10 times and I hit it 10 times, there's no reason for me to for me to lack confidence. But if I try an armbar 10 times and I hit it twice, maybe I'm not so confident in the armbar. So when I usually go into a match, there's no reason for me to lack confidence. I go in and there's no pressure, and I'm like, I'm just gonna run through these guys. But the training sessions were so bad. And I was doing, you know, rounds with like Silas, like one of our purple belts or something, and I'm like in the middle of a transition, and I'm like, stop, and I'm dry heaving, laying down on the mat. That was kind of scary, to be honest. Like, when there's nothing worse than knowing what you're supposed to be doing mentally, but your body just can't keep up. It's like the most frustrating thing ever. So, you know, going into this, there was definitely some more pressure than usual because I knew that the camp was so bad, and I knew I wasn't nearly on the level that I should be operating on.
And then you mentioned John. I wanted to ask you about John. You know, how long have you guys been together? How would you categorize your relationship currently, right now? And yeah, what does it mean to you to kind of?
Yeah, I met John when I was 16, so it's been about 13 years now that I've known John. So, you know, that guy, I owe my life to that guy. You know, John he is there 365 days a year. Some days he gets up and he can barely even walk across the mat. He's so beat up. Like I said, there's nothing that makes me more upset than not being able to show up and perform for him. And I can't complain to him because he's got more problems than me. So, you know, I kind of just come in quietly, do what I can, and try to make it work, and just somehow it always ends up working. So I'm happy about it.
I just want to get your thoughts on Kaynan Duarte, his performance, and kind of just what your thoughts are in 2 years from now.
Kaynan was pretty impressive. He was surprising. Kaynan is really not known for his submissions, and he's had some really bad performances lately. Like he went out and Luke destroyed him, and then he went out and he fought that, I think it was the Arab guy, I forget what his name is, and he beat him, and it kind of looked like he was falling off a lot. And then he came in, he had, I think, 7 out of 8 submissions today. So, I mean, he had one of the most impressive ADCC runs of all times in terms of just submissions to matches. My most, when I did the absolute and the division of double golded, I had 6 out of 8. So he did 7 out of 8. So, you can talk shit about his most recent performances before this, but in terms of ADCC, I think he really showed up today. So he looked good.
Your thoughts on a potential match between you and him?
I think that I think a match with me and him would go similar to how him and Marigali went. I don't think that, provided I'm not dead with this shit body by the next ADCC, I think that my pressure is going to be too much for him. But Kaynan's very good if he can control the pace of the match, but once you take him outside of his comfort zone with pacing, and you get him moving a lot in positions that he's not really equipped to deal with, he kind of falls apart from there. But definitely an interesting match. I was hoping one of our shitty guys would have won this year, so I could have just passed the torch off to them, but I guess not. I was really disappointed about Marigali because Marigali was the guy to win. And then he got thrown, and you see in the video his shoulder, like through the rash guard, pop out. And like you can fight through an injury, but if your shoulder is dislocated, especially the first time when you have if your shoulder dislocates all the time, you can kind of figure out how to pop it back in. But the first time it happens, like your body just shuts down. Like you see, like some people get the shoulder dislocations, and it's such a shock to the body that they throw up because like that's like your body telling you to stop and sit down. So I felt bad for him. He posted. And just so unfortunate because he was really killing it during camp.
Yeah, congratulations, man. Is there anything else you'd like to say to the fans or the haters or anything you wanted to say?
What else is there to say? No matter what I do, it's not going to be good enough. I was on Instagram a little bit yesterday. I was looking at some of the flow posts, and everyone's just like, "You lost." I was like, "Okay, guys, you won." Nothing else to say. I got this Michael Jordan, baby.
Thank you. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.